The Kobbie Mainoo contract situation. I'm bored of it. I'm fed up of it. And the stories are getting ridiculous. Half of the stories have been debunked. We've got more insight into what's actually going on. Yet the media is still coming out with stories that Mainoo's going to go and we're going to sell him for this amount and he wants this many wages. And I'm fed up of it. So I'm just going to tell you everything you need to know about the Kobbie Mainoo situation because it's an international break. People need things to write about, so you know the whole situation with Kobbie Mainoo. Luke Shaw, we'll talk about him, his return. Inacio, I could see this still happening. United targeting Inacio. Manchester United willing to fight other clubs to land, who I think would be a perfect player for Amorim, especially after we basically didn't get Kenda. We'll talk about crazy price tags. I've accidentally put Luke Shaw there twice. We'll talk about Anthony, his comments, Dibbling, Semenyo. We're going to talk about a few people in today's video. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United roundup. Let's get into the first story on Mainoo. Manchester United and Kobbie Mainoo could go separate ways in the summer. There is a genuine chance Kobbie Mainoo could leave in the summer. Mainoo has been in contract negotiations with United since March 2024, and the agreement still hasn't been reached despite talks continuing. He's valued at £70 million. Is there a possibility Mainoo leaves? Yes. Do I think he will leave? No. Do I think he will sign a new deal? Yes. Mainoo could definitely leave Manchester United. He could, if a massive bid comes in and Ineos think that's what they're going to do. But I'm 95% sure he stays. It was said by Tier 1 journalists there's more chance of Mainoo staying than Garnacho. Mainoo is very close to signing a new deal. He never asked for 200k a week. He wants to sign a new deal. Ineos want to build around him. There's an expectation from all parties that this deal will be sorted. Now, Mainoo's agent is doing classic agent things. You know, pushing to try and get Mainoo the best deal possible, the best wage, playing with United. He'll put out stories that Mainoo could go. United could put out stories that they're willing to let Mainoo go. A bit of PR, a bit of a negotiation tactic to try and get the best deal. Man United wanted the best on their end. Mainoo wasn't the best on his end. This is how contract negotiations work. This is how it works. But Tier 1 sources have said there's no issues. He's not demanding the money that people are saying he's demanding. It's expected to be sorted. There's progress being made. Now, after all the Tier 1 sources saying this all week, we've now got, and Steve Ralston is a good source and he's very good when it comes to the academy, but we've now got other sources coming out saying Mainoo could go 70 million, they're going to sell him. And I feel like because it's the international break and because he's not signed a new deal, people are jumping on the, United could sell Mainoo for 70 million. They could, but they're like, people are trying to act as if, he's not going to sign this new contract. And from what we've been told, he is. And it's just general negotiations. He could leave, a contract won't be gone, they'll go separate ways. Look, for me, Man United will want more than 70 million for Mainoo because he's worth more than that to United. Mainoo wants to stay. United want to keep Mainoo. United are willing to be patient with Mainoo. He's a generational talent. If we are going to cash in on a young player, I think it's Garnacho. Mainoo's been injured. It doesn't help his situation because he's not playing at the moment. But let's be totally honest. I think Mainoo will be here. And I'm kind of fed up with the Mainoo stories because we've been told literally by good journalists the other day that the expectation is going to be done. But every day we're getting a story. 1 minute he's going to go. 1 minute he's going to stay. 1 minute he's not going to sign a new deal. The next minute he's close to signing a new deal. Next minute Ineos want to sell him. The next minute Ineos don't want to sell him. And to be honest, I'm fed up with it. So, let's talk about our next story on Gonzalo Inacio. Now, Manchester United were linked to Inacio last summer. Fabrizio Romano linked us to Inacio. I think it was like as one of the Branthwaite alternatives when Everton were asking for a ridiculous fee for Branthwaite. And, we know that United like Inacio. This was before we even knew we were going to get Amorim. We looked at Inacio as a left centre-back. Leach is very injury prone. He's not going to be back until Christmas time. So United will be targeting another centre-back and probably a left centre-back. Lindelof is gone. Evans is gone. Maguire's in the last year of his deal and quite injury prone. De Ligt was injury prone, but not this season. Euro's picked up injuries. Heaven's picked up injuries. Leach is out until Christmas. We need a centre-back. Now, we're probably going to look at a wide centre-back because De Ligt can play central centre-back. Maguire can play central centre-back. Euro could do very well at central centre-back. We're going to look at a wide centre-back. And Inacio is a perfect profile wide centre-back for Amorim's system. Does Inacio have physicality issues? Yes. And is that my only concern around him? Yes. Because we talk about, Man United lacking physicality. And I think at times, Leach has struggled with that. But like for like, Inacio is a very good option to have in there, particularly with his ball playing abilities and his mobility with Leacher out. Now, it was said that United have been watching Inacio for a long time, which is true, and they are said to have repeatedly been on the verge of turning that interest into a swoop to sign him. There's no real indication they've made him a concrete option at this point, but I believe this. I believe that Inacio could be strongly linked to us nearer the summer. I think we will sign one player from Sporting. I don't know who it will be. I feel like we could sign one player from Sporting. It could be Trincao, could be Gyökeres, could be Inacio, could be Diomande. I feel like we'll get a signing from Sporting, if not one signing from the Portuguese league. We're looking at a lot of players. We like Inacio. He's not in my top 3 picks, but he'd make the top 10 picks, but he's not like the top 3. But I think you've got to realise the amount of clubs looking for a centre-back and who you compete with. This could be more realistic. Now, I did say I think we'll sign a player from the Portuguese league, even if it's not Sporting. And that player could be Braga's Roger Fernandes. Now, more recent reports have suggested we're looking more at a goalkeeper than a right wing back. But I think with United not being able to get Kenda, there will be focus on alternatives to Kenda. I think surely we go for a right wing back because Ahmad can play there. Bendito Mantato could potentially play there. But I think Ahmad's better in the 10. And Jalou is just... At right back, I like Jalou. At right wing back, it's painful. It was said Manchester United are willing to fight for the signing of Braga's Roger Fernandes. Ruben Amorim will have a strong say on the potential deal. Now, we know Ruben Amorim is reportedly a fan of the player. We know that he could potentially be a perfect signing for Amorim, and United willing to fight for this. United maybe not happy with the Kenda situation and think, you know what? We need to get that kind of player in. He's physically very good, can play at a good intensity. Let's fight for the deal. So I'm going to tell you more about this player. So he's only 19 years of age. So I still think we could do with someone more ready-made. He could maybe do another season in Portugal, but he is definitely more developed than Kenda. And I think he would more likely make an impact now than Kenda. Kenda could be better than him in a few years, but I think right now he's better than Kenda. Although I do think he could do another year at Braga. He also has physicality. Now, when I look at him and what I've seen, and I've not seen a lot, I see intensity, I see running power, I see ground coverage, I see ball carrying ability, which is elite for his age, and that's exactly what Amorim wants in a player. Can he carry the ball? Can he progress the ball? Is he good out wide? Yes, but can he deal with the intensity, the physical demands? I think he would suit the Premier League fine. Is he looking technically good? Yep. He looks physical. He can play at intensity. He's a strong carrier. That's what we lack. We lack progressive passers in the pivot. We lack a wide channel centre-back that knows how to position himself in Amorim's system. We lack a wing-back that can progress the ball and then make an impact in the final third, which he can do. We lack a striker that can score goals, and we lack a natural 10 that can play wide. I look at it, we could play 10 in Amorim's system. We could play left wing back if needed and be back up. But I think there's an option at right wing back there. Amma can play right 10. We could be in a position to sell Jalou because I think we could get more money from selling Jalou than what he would cost as well, potentially. But that could be a risk with him and Dorgu as wing backs so young. But he's rapid, he's forward thinking, he's creative, he's confident in 1v1s, he can drive the ball forward, he delivers solid crosses. I think he's a really good option when you look at what Ruben Amorim wants. Continuing on. Bournemouth have put a 70 million price tag on Semenyo. I like Semenyo, could play right wing back, could play right 10, would be a fantastic signing, but he's not worth more than 45 million for me. And 45 million is probably a fair price tag for Semenyo. 70 million, I don't know where these price tags are coming on. Romano then confirmed the story by the Telegraph yesterday that Tyler Dibbling is a dream target for United, but Southampton would want 100 million as they believe he's one of the best players in the world. Tyler Dibbling is a very good player. For 40 million, I would definitely invest in Tyler Dibbling. 100 million, I wouldn't. We're not in a position to spend 100 million on another kid when we need an experienced, ready-made striker that can score goals. We've already got loads of kids. We need a Cunha, we need a Gyökeres, we need a pivot player that can progress the ball, we need a wide channel defender, we arguably need a goalkeeper, we arguably need a right wing back. We're not in a position to spend that kind of money on Dibbling. If you get Dibbling for 40 million, I'm happy with it. But I wouldn't spend more than 40 million on Dibbling in a situation we're at. Because I've watched Dibbling at Southampton, and sometimes he's not been great and he's been ineffective, and you can see the youth, you can see the decision making, the kind of game that people would get on Garnacho for. And then other games you can see his brilliance, but you could say that with Garnacho. Sometimes we see his brilliance, and sometimes we see his frustrating side. Now, more recently, it has been the frustrating side this season. But I think because people don't watch Dibbling that often, they don't realise that he does have a lot of games where he's just not as impactful. And he's a great player, and I think he will become a great player, but he's still raw. And I think to take that step up, we need some more ready-made players now, rather than keep bringing in young players. Now, talking of a player that could be impactful if he was actually fit, Luke Shaw. It was said here, Luke Shaw has been allowed time in Doha, Qatar to work on his fitness in warm weather training, and his return to Graphic Carrington is thought to be close. Obviously, when players have come back from injuries and stuff, they often do warm weather training. Apparently, if you train in a warmer weather, your muscles are at less risk of getting injured or strains and all of that. And also, it's better for building fitness because you have to work that a bit harder in the heat, which makes sense. And then last but not least, Anthony was asked about, Man United paying all that money to bring him in. And he said, if they pay that kind of money for you, it's because you have talent wherever you go. And I'll always speak highly of United. I'm very grateful to the club and Eric Ten Hag for what we experienced together, for the titles and everything I learned. I had difficult times there, but I had good times at United. I think I'm prepared. I think it prepared me to be happy today, enjoying myself. My mind is here, and I'm very happy, says Anthony on Betis. Anyway, thank you for watching today's 10-minute roundup. Let me know your thoughts down below. See you next time. Bye.